What was it like growing up in Pima?
It was fun. We had a bicycle, we lived out on the farm a mile out of town. And we did whatever we wanted. Rode horses, rode our bikes into town, bought a popsicle and rode that. Went swimming in the ditch, in the irrigation ditches.
So just like right there on the side of a farm field, you'd swim in it?
Right in front of our house, there was an irrigation ditch, we would swim in it. So, yeah, it was a perfect life.
It was epic when we would go visit it, even when I was a kid. Those irrigation ditches were amazing. You know, as a kid, they were concreted, they were nice. You could hop back and forth from one side to the next, and you'd look for all the little, the crawdads or stuff like that in it.
And my dad was a cotton farmer, and when the cotton ripened up in the fall, we could go pick cotton and get paid and go to the movies. We did that every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We would pick enough cotton to earn enough money to go to the movies, and then we were done.
Very good. What were some of the epic movies you saw back then?
Tarzan,
Oh
all
yeah.
those cowboy movies, all those old tiny cowboys.
Yep.
There were even a couple of monster movies, that one about the ants or
Giant ants or
giant
something.
ants, yeah.
And did you guys spend a lot of time up there on Mount Graham since it was so close?
We only went up once a year. My dad didn't like going up there. It took him off the farm because it took a whole day out of his life.
That's how you'd say it?
But we loved it. And then when I was 12 and we were a beehive, we got to go up for like a week with the beehive class. We had a cabin, the ward cabin, and we'd all go stay in that ward cabin.
I remember that. It burned down though when I was Old Columbine?
Yeah. A lot of the cabins there at Columbine were ancient. The pioneers, when they first moved to the Gila Valley, there was no air conditioning. It was extremely hot in the summer, just like down in the valley.
Yeah.
They grew cotton. And in the summertime, they'd go up the mountain to stay cool. So there were a lot of old pioneer cabins up there at Columbine. Do you remember seeing? Well, some of them were really, really old. And every summer they'd climb up the mountain and stay there all summer. And then they'd go down in the winter. They're in the valley. But my dad was the bishop for 20 years in Pima.
20 years? Wow.
That was back in the day. They just put them in and left them. Because it wasn't nearly as hard as it is nowadays. The bishops have a lot harder time nowadays. But back then it was just, people would come and asking for money or stuff from the church that always wanted money.
And you probably had to do like recommends and making sure all the callings were filled.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about him in your talk of just a year ago or something like that? And keeping the Sabbath day holy or something?
Yeah, I did. You weren't there, huh?
No, but I think Dad told us about it.
It was really kind of interesting because I went to church in a wheelchair. Bishop made me give a talk.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be on keeping the Sabbath day holy. But they had the same topic all month long, and I was the last speaker of the last Sunday, and everything had been covered. What the heck? So I talked about my dad, because he was a bishop, and he was a cotton farmer. And when you're a farmer, when the irrigation water comes down the ditch, you've got to irrigate or all the cotton's gonna die. And sometimes it was on Sundays. And so he would, and back then we'd go to Sunday school and priesthood in the morning, come home, and then go to church in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd get up, put on his Sunday clothes, run to church, have a priesthood meeting, run home, change into his irrigation clothes and irrigate, and then get back into church clothes and run to church again. Do church. And then he'd spend most of the night out on the ditches there. Irrigating. That's a big job. He
Yeah.
had a hired hand that would help him, and when my brothers got old enough, they helped him, but they were younger than me. 2 brothers younger than me, so I did have one older brother, but he helped. They all helped. And they chopped the cotton. We had to go down and thin it out and chop all the weeds. The Johnson grass would get real thick in it. And those boys worked hard on the farm. We milked the cows. We had 2 cows. We milked the cows and separated the cream from the milk and made ice cream and all kinds of stuff.
You had 2 cows and you used all the milk.
Well, we had 7 kids in the family, and my mother made butter and ice cream.
Her ice cream was the best. It was epic.
But you're right, she did. She made a lot of butter, and she'd take it to the store and sell it. The
Okay.
grocery store in Pima, and they would
Okay.
sell it.
I recall she made a cherry ice cream, a vanilla, and a
Cherry
chocolate.
nut was her favorite.
It was awesome.
And we had one of those hand crank ice cream things.
That's where the Crockett ice cream addiction came from, huh? It's actually a McBride addiction.
Absolutely, every Sunday she'd do it. And it wasn't just us, her sister from Thatcher, Beulah Daly, would bring all her family over and they'd eat it too. They'd take it outside because when you froze the ice cream, the ice would melt and it has salt on it because that makes it colder.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would trickle out of the freezer, so you couldn't do it inside the house, you had to do it outside. Or you'd get that salt water all over the place. She made butter and ice cream. I never liked the milk though because it tasted like whatever the cows were eating. Like the alfalfa, you could taste it. And we didn't pasteurize it, it was just straight whole milk. I still don't like milk because of that.
Really?
When did they start doing a lot of cattle on your on the farm?
I think we ever had more than 2, but we raised a lot of cattle and sold them.
Because I recall there was like hundreds. Back in one field, they would have 100
Yeah,
or
well,
so.
he had back by that big barn, they would feed the cattle with steers and stuff, and then they'd sell them. Fatten them up and sell them.